Hello everybody and welcome to the Creatrix YouTube channel. I welcome you all in a fresh session of analog electronics. And my dear friends, when I say we are going to learn analog electronics from the very basic, I mean it. We will be learning from the very basic level to the very advanced level along with a lots and lots of questions. So before we do that, let me first introduce myself for my friend who is meeting me for the first time. My dear friends, my name is Ankit Goyal. I got AIR1 twice in GATE in 2014 and 2018. I was awarded the President of India Gold Medal in the year 2013 when I graduated from IIT Indore. Till date, I have trained more than 1 lakh students in the online and the offline classes and presently working as a director at an academy for GATE department. But my dear friends, the reason behind this series is because of the huge demand of analog electronics and the belief that whenever you ask for anything, we are there to deliver. Yes, my dear friends, we are here for you. We are here delivering for you. And when we say it, we will support you to the very fullest level. And this series will help you crack GATE with the top rank. It will enable ECE student to get 12 out of 12 and 5 out of 5 for electrical students. So my dear friends, if you want to learn with us live, then you can join an academy using the code AnkitESE to get an immediate 10% discount. And not only, my dear friend, 10% discount, it also brings you under my guidance so that I can help you do something that I have done. I can at least take you near to this goal. Okay. So if you also dream the same thing, then join me in this journey on an academy subscription using the code AnkitESE. Now, my dear friend, if you like the content that I deliver, you can watch more of my free videos on this URL, tinyurl.com/AnkitESE. Here you will find all my videos arranged subject-wise, chapter-wise, and you will find great content for free. And you are definitely going to love it. You are definitely going to enjoy. It not only includes conceptual videos, but it also includes problem-solving sessions. So just visit this once and you will fall in love with this URL. Don't forget it. It is a lifeline for you. And if you love the content that we are delivering on YouTube, we have created the first ever video book for you guys, where you will find all the videos along with all the notes that we provide arranged subject wise, chapter wise. So now, my dear friends, your dreams are no longer dreams. They are becoming a reality because you are getting a top quality course, well arranged, well structured, and that too for free. So what can be better than that? What can be better than that? Nothing, my dear friends. So we have empowered the dreams of those who earlier used to think that only the person with a huge amount of money can crack GATE with a top rank. No, my dear friends, that is not the case. Even you can do. Even you can do it. But yes, just you need to believe in yourself and visit this link. But remember, this is a case sensitive link, so write this in uppercase. Other than that, if you join plus subscription, you get all the top educators like me teaching you live in daily lectures, along with providing you daily practice paper, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, crash course, rank improvement batch, and most importantly, clearing your each and every doubt. So if you join plus subscription, it is an entire world inside it. So you don't have to look outside. Once you enter plus, every need of yours will be taken care of, and we will make your journey as smooth as possible towards that destination of getting under 100, under 10 rank. Believe me, my friend, you leave that strategy part to us. You leave the content part to us. You just work hard and we will make sure that you obtain the top rank in GATE and ESE. And Iconic is a big brother of Plus. Yes, this is a little brother. So Iconic gives you everything that the Plus subscription gives, along with much more. The major part of Iconic is this personal coach, a person dedicated to you on a daily basis to get you the top rank, guiding you, getting your schedule design, making your strategy. Everything that you need to get the top rank is being done by this personal coach. He'll also create a study planner for you, which you can follow blindly and reach your destination with utmost ease. They will be analyzing your test result and tell you where you are lacking, how you can improve. So that way, my dear friend, everybody else will get a standard analysis, but you will get an analysis just tailor-made for you. Along with it, we have included study material additionally, theory and question bank, and soon we'll be introducing interview guidance into this. So this will become a complete package for a student who wants to take that journey from being an average student to sitting into a PSU or a MTech seat. So for them, this journey will be just like driving a Lamborghini to work. So that sort of a experience, that sort of a royal experience we are going to give you. So let's move on to the lecture, and if you want to join Unacademy, just make sure you use the code AnkitESE to get my guidance as well as to get 10% over and above whatever Unacademy offers you. So now let's move on to the lecture, dear friends, and let's see what we have in store for you.
Hi guys, in the previous lecture we started with the concept of power amplifiers. So I told you about the basic of power amplifier, that this amplifier is being used in the output stage of a multi-stage amplifier and is designed to amplify large input and should be able to handle large amount of power. And we saw that the objective changes from a normal amplifier. Here we are not willing to derive voltage gain, input resistance, output resistance and parameters like that, but we are more interested in deriving the energy or power conversion efficiency, output AC power, output DC power, distortion, all these things we are more interested in deriving. Then I told you the major difference in small signal and large signal amplifier. Okay. Then we saw different type of distortion, in which we covered non-linear distortion. That was when the transistor operates in the non-linear region instead of linear or active region. Frequency distortion, phase distortion, then harmonic distortion, that was due to nonlinear distortion, crossover distortion due to dead zone in the characteristic, and then we saw the concept of thermal runaway, which we had seen once up before in BJT. So there I told you, if you bias the transistor at the middle of the load line, then thermal runaway will not occur, because as temperature increases, collector current will increase and operating point will move to a lower power hyperbola. And we also saw the condition to avoid thermal runaway is that the rate of heat generation inside the BJT should be less than equal to 1 by theta, where theta is the thermal resistance. Okay, we saw this. Now in this video we will be starting with the different type of power amplifiers. So first we will start with the class A amplifier. Now this is the most common type of amplifier. If you see the circuit diagram, actually it is nothing but a common emitter amplifier with emitter bypass capacitor, that is CE, C2, which we have seen here, we have marked here as C2. So it is nothing but a common emitter amplifier, right? So this we have analyzed multiple times inside BJT, the common emitter amplifier. This is the best type of amplifier, okay, most common as well as best amplifier. Why it is best amplifier? Because here the BJT is biased at the middle of the load line, or it operates in the linear region. Its complete operation is linear. So it is the best amplifier. It has least distortion. I told you the distortion was being produced when the amplifier was entering the non-linear region, due to which the output waveform was non-sinusoidal and it consisted of harmonics. But if amplifier is completely operating in the linear region, then it will not produce any harmonics. So this amplifier can also be this can also be derived using FET. We can connect FET in common source configuration. You can also use IGBT, but IGBT is beyond the scope of discussion. That is a part of power electronics. Okay. But now, since it is biased in the active region, it is biased at middle of load line, or you can say it is biased in active region. So what is the DC bias current? It is ICQ. That is the DC bias current, which means the total current will be ICQ plus AC current. This AC current is produced due to AC input signal Vi. Okay, it is due to this AC input signal Vi. Now think like this. We have two currents. One is due to DC biasing and other is due to AC input. So the total current is the sum of two current. I will say that if AC input is 0, then AC current is 0, then total current is ICQ. That means current flows even in absence of input signal. Even when we have not applied any input signal, the current is flowing, and that is flowing due to DC biasing. This causes large power dissipation. Think like this. Suppose I have a signal amplifier like voice amplifier or a speaker. Even if you have not connected any input, that is, even if I am not supplying any song, or even if I am not playing any song on the speaker, it is consuming power. If it is consuming power even when it is not being used, then it is a very inefficient type of amplifier. So its efficiency is almost 30%. So it has very low efficiency. Okay. So since it has very low efficiency, we have derived other amplifiers which work at higher efficiency as compared to class A amplifier. So what is the advantage if I ask you about class A amplifier? The advantage is that it has the highest linear region and least distortion. Disadvantage, it consumes a large amount of power, so efficiency is low, hence it is not suitable for large power application. Okay, because it dissipates a large amount of power. Now one type of class A amplifier is called as your direct coupled amplifier. Okay, and even in the previous slide I forgot to explain this figure to you. Basically this region is your saturation and this region is your cutoff. In saturation V output is VCC, sorry, in cutoff it is VCC, in saturation it is 0. This curve is between IC and VC, sorry, between V0 and Vin. Okay, so if you see on the x-axis I have shown the input signal like this, but its negative cycle is mapped to positive and positive cycle is mapped to negative. That is due to 180-degree shift provided by common emitter amplifier, that the signal becomes inverted, but see, the signal is still sinusoidal. That is, for sinusoidal input we will get the sinusoidal output. Class A amplifier will never change the shape of the signal, and that is what I said, it has least amount of distortion. It will never distort the input signal. Now one type of class A amplifier is called as direct coupled class A amplifier. It is nothing but, if you see, it is a common emitter amplifier with collector to base bias, or you can say it is basically biased using VCC, which is called as fixed bias. Okay, so it is a common emitter amplifier in a fixed bias configuration. Okay, now if you draw the transfer characteristic, that is V0 versus Vin, or if we draw the load line IC versus VCE. So when we draw load line, how does it look like? It is simply a decreasing curve. This current is VCC by RC and this voltage is VCC. Okay. Now if you bias the transistor at the middle of the load line, that is VCE at Q point is VCC by 2 and IC at Q point is VCC by 2RC. I told you, why do we bias at the midpoint? It is equidistant. In BJT I told you, it is equidistant from cutoff and saturation region. So the chances of non-linear behavior or the chances to deviate from the active region are minimum. If you bias at the middle of the load line, then it will mostly operate in the linear region and it will not produce any distortion. Now see, if we draw a few waveforms, let me show you a few waveforms and tell you how they are drawn. So the first thing that I will draw is DC biasing. So DC biasing here is a fixed bias. So this is our DC bias. Now when you superimpose an AC signal, which is your VS here, VS is not a small signal but it is a large signal here. So when you superimpose AC, it becomes like this. We are not applying negative voltage, so we are going above 0 only. This is pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. This curve is nothing but superposition of DC biasing at the AC input signal Vs. Now when we will draw the collector current IC, or instead of collector current, what you can draw is the output voltage. You can skip collector current and draw the output voltage. First I am drawing V0 dash. V0 dash is the collector voltage of BJT. Now it is a common emitter amplifier, so it will provide 180 degree phase shift to the AC. DC will be DC, but with AC it will have 180 degree phase shift. So AC will be like this. When AC input is negative, the output is positive, and when input is positive, the output is negative. So at this point, when V0 is 0, it is in saturation. When V0 is VCC, it is in cutoff. That is your V0 dash, the voltage at the collector of BJT. Now see that we have connected a capacitor at the output terminal. What will capacitor do? Capacitor will block the DC voltage and only pass the AC output. So this is the waveform of your V0. So V0 dash has both DC and AC, whereas V0 has only AC. Is this point clear to you? So what is the maximum swing of output voltage? Maximum swing is from 0 to VCC So it is VCC. Okay. Is it fine? So what I have said is we have applied DC bias superimposed with the AC signal. But one thing to be kept in mind, the AC signal now is not a small signal. If it is not a small signal, then the value of AC signal is comparable to the DC signal, and we cannot use the small signal models that we have learnt earlier. And you can see that the operating point can move to saturation as well as cutoff due to AC signal being large. If AC signal is large, it can shift to saturation as well as it can shift to cutoff. When we were studying small signal analysis, the AC signal was so small that it cannot change the operating region of BJT, but now AC signal is large and it can change the operating region of BJT. So now let us understand the certain terms that are important with the power amplifier. Okay. So the first thing is your input power. The power input is taken from your DC biasing. And what is this power? The input power taken from DC biasing is DC voltage into DC current. VCC into ICQ. Okay. ICQ is your DC bias current. Okay. Remember one thing, when you study network analysis, what do you say? We say that in order to derive the power dissipation, we always take same frequency in voltage and current. That is, the components being multiplied must have same frequency, and that is due to orthogonality. So here in DC, the frequency is 0 in voltage. So we are taking 0 frequency current, or you can say DC bias current, when we talk about input DC power. What about output power? When we talk about output power, and that too we are talking about AC power. When we talk about output AC power, it is VCE RMS into IC RMS. Because in AC, the power is obtained by multiplying VRMS and IRMS. This can also be written as IC RMS square into RC, or you can say VCE RMS square by RC. That will be your output AC power. And now what about efficiency? The efficiency will be PDAC over PI DC. That is output AC power divided by input DC power. Now I told you we are biasing the transistor at the middle of the load line. So ICQ will be VCC by 2RC. Okay, that will be ICQ. And what about IC peak to peak? It is VCC by RC. IC peak to peak is VCC by RC. What about VCE peak to peak? It is VCC minus 0, which is equal to VCC. Okay. Now, if you want to find out VCE peak, it is VCE peak to peak upon 2. And how to find RMS value of AC or sinusoidal value? It is peak voltage by root 2. I have divided amplitude by root 2, and that is your VCE RMS. Similarly, what is IC RMS? It is IC peak to peak by 2 root 2. So if you want to find out output AC power, what we were taking? VCE RMS into IC RMS, which is VCC by 2 root 2 into VCC by 2 root 2 RC, or you can say VCC square by 8 hours. That is output AC power. What about input DC power? VCC into ICQ, VCC into VCC by 2RC. So VCC square by 2RC. Now if you calculate efficiency, VCC square by 8RC, output AC power, by input DC power. So how much will this efficiency come out to be? 25%. Okay. That is, the efficiency is 25%. So what is the advantage of this class A amplifier? The advantage is that it completely operates in the linear region. So it has minimum distortion. What is the other advantage? Due to middle of the load line, there is no thermal runaway. This is protected from thermal runaway problem. What is the disadvantage? Low efficiency, because it is always on. And power drain. Power drain means power consumed even if input voltage is 0. Even if you haven't applied any input signal, the power is being consumed by the transistor. Okay. And if you want to find the power rating of BJT, power rating must be greater than equal to power dissipation in the BJT, and this power dissipation in the BJT is equal to maximum output power. Okay. So rating should always be more than actual power dissipation in BJT. So what you have to remember? You have to remember how we have computed efficiency and the advantages and disadvantages of class A amplifier. Now we come to transformer coupled class A amplifier. First one was direct coupled. In transformer coupled, what happens? Instead of connecting RC or RL, directly at collector, we have connected a transformer of turns ratio N1:N2 at the collector, and then connected the load resistance or RC. See, earlier RC was directly connected in the collector region. That means the current in RC would be DC as well as AC, which will cause power loss. Okay. But now transformer will only be able to transfer AC. So the current in RL is only the AC current. So power dissipation is reduced or efficiency is improved. Again I am telling, earlier the load resistance was directly connected in the collector terminal. So it carried DC as well as AC current, due to which power dissipation was large. But now we have connected the resistance by means of a transformer. So only AC current will pass through the resistor. DC current will not pass through the resistor. And if that happens, power dissipation will be reduced and efficiency will be improved. So transformer coupling has higher efficiency as compared to direct coupling. In transformer, if this voltage is V1, this voltage is V2, this current is I1, so this current is I2. So what is the ratio? V1 is to V2 is always equal to turns ratio, but the current ratio is always opposite. I1 upon I2 is N2 by N1. Now those of you who haven't ever studied transformer, we always use a concept of impedance referral. That is, if you want to refer the impedance from secondary to primary, in secondary this RL is your V2 by I2. In primary, if I call it as RL primary, it should be the ratio of V1 upon I1. Now RLP V1, how you can write V1 from this equation? V2 N1 by N2. And how you can write I1? I1 is I2 N2 by N1. Now V2 by I2 is RL N1 by N2 whole square. That is, if you want to refer the impedance from secondary to primary, this you have to multiply by turns ratio square, and this is called as your reflected resistance. How you can remember this expression? Where we are referring to? We are referring to primary having N1 turns and we are going from secondary. So N1 is the destination where you want to refer to, and N2 is the source where we are referring from. So always multiply destination number of turns divided by source number of turns whole square, and that is how we refer from secondary to the primary any sort of resistance. Okay. Now if we talk about power, what we saw when we talk about output AC power, we saw that it is VCE peak to peak, IC peak to peak by 2 root 2 by 2 root 2. That was the output AC power. Or VCE peak to peak is how much? VCE max minus VCE min. What is IC peak to peak? IC max minus IC min whole divided by 8. That is your output AC power. Okay. Now this output AC power is basically measured at transformer primary. But if transformer is lossless, then power in primary is also equal to power in secondary. So the same power is being delivered to the load on the secondary winding. So instead of finding power through the secondary winding, we can directly find power at the primary winding. What about input DC power? The input DC power, as told earlier, will be VCC into ICQ. That will be your input DC power. So if you solve for efficiency, the efficiency that we get here is 50 VCE max minus VCE min upon VCE max plus VCE min whole square into 100%. Okay. So now if you say that the minimum collector to emitter voltage is 0, actually it is 0.2 in saturation, but if you assume it to be 0, the efficiency will be 50%. But practically, this is the ideal case. Practically, efficiency lies between 30 to 35%. But still it is more than 25% that is offered by a direct coupled class A amplifier. So by the use of transformer, remember what we have done. By the use of transformer, we have only allowed AC to pass through the load, due to which power dissipation has reduced. Earlier both AC and DC were passing through the load, so power dissipation was high. Okay. So that is how we have improved the efficiency. Okay. Moving on to the next type of amplifier, it is class B amplifier. Okay. Now class B amplifier has been developed as a solution to the efficiency problem of class A. What is the major drawback of class A amplifier? Is that it consumes power even in the absence of signal, due to which its efficiency is very low. In order to solve that problem, we come to class B amplifier to remove efficiency and heating problem. Now here we make use of two complementary BJT or FET. That is, one transistor is NPN and the other one is PNP. So we have two complementary transistor which can either be BJT or FET, and this is also called as push-pull amplifier. Why push-pull? Because if NPN is on, if suppose this is Q1, this is Q2. If Q1 is on, it will connect output voltage to VCC. It pulls or pushes V out to VCC. If Q2 is on, it will connect V out to ground, pulls V out to 0. That means one transistor is trying to push V out to VCC while the other is trying to pull the signal to a low value. That is why it is called as the push-pull amplifier. Now, as you might have noticed in the circuit, there is no DC biasing. We haven't performed any DC biasing in the amplifier. So we are only running the amplifier based on the AC signal. Since there is no DC biasing, power loss does not occur in absence of AC signal. Actually, AC signal itself is responsible for operation of this system. If AC signal is not present, this system cannot work and hence power loss cannot occur. Earlier what was happening, even if we were removing the AC signal, DC signal was still present, and due to that DC signal, power loss was occurring even in absence of AC signal. Okay. Now, what we want is, in the positive cycle, VBE1 is greater than 0. So Q1 conducts. Okay. In negative cycle, VBE2 is less than 0, or you can say VEB2 is greater than 0. Because in PNP transistor, instead of VBE, what parameter do we consider? VEB. In that case, Q2 will conduct. That means one transistor will conduct in the positive half cycle while the other will conduct in the negative half cycle. And that way, both transistors will never conduct together. But there is a catch here. In the previous lecture, we studied about crossover distortion. There I told you no transistor can start conduction instantaneously. It at least requires 0.7 volt. So between minus 0.7 and plus 0.7 volt, neither Q1 can conduct nor Q2 can conduct. So if your input voltage lies between minus 0.7 to plus 0.7, then no transistor conducts, and if no transistor is conducting, the output will be 0, and if output is 0, this is your dead zone, or you can say it leads to crossover distortion. Okay, so it causes crossover distortion. No transistor will conduct in the region. Okay. So now what we have to understand is the power consideration. That is, we have to talk about efficiency and all the things. Now what happens during positive cycle? Q1 will conduct. So how will the current of Q1 look like? It will look like this. It will conduct only in positive cycle. So it will look like this. what will be this maximum value? Maximum value will be maximum voltage over load resistance. So if you talk about average current of IC1, it will be Vm by pi RL. Okay. This average we also derived in the half wave rectifier. The same formula I have directly used, Vm by pi RL. Same way in the negative half cycle, Q2 will conduct. So its average current will also be same, Vm by pi RL. Okay. None of the transistors are conducting for both the half cycle. For positive half cycle, Q1 is conducting. For negative half cycle, Q2 is conducting. So their average current are same as that of a half wave rectifier. See, in this case, it is a more systematic circuit. Here we have made use of biasing resistances also, RB1 and RB2. And we have applied input signal by means of capacitor. Okay. And this capacitor will be called as your coupling capacitor. So earlier in the previous circuit we did not have any biasing circuit, but now we have applied the biasing circuit. If I talk about the input DC power, that is ICQ, input DC power is VCC into ICQ or IC average. Now both transistors are operating for half cycle. So the total current of the two transistor is IC1 average plus IC2 average. That is VCC into Vm by pi RL plus Vm by pi RL. So you can say 2 VCC into Vm by pi RL. That is your input input DC power. What about output AC power? It is V0 RMS into IC RMS, or you can say VCE RMS. So it is V peak by root 2 into I peak by root 2. Okay. Or you can say it is Vp square by 2 RL. Because IP I will write as Vp over RL. Now Vp is actually peak to peak voltage upon 2. Peak voltage means amplitude. Okay. What I mean to say here is, if waveform is like this, then this is your V peak to peak, whereas this is only Vp. So Vp is V peak to peak by 2. So V peak to peak square by 8 RL. Okay. So that way we have derived input and the output DC power, input DC power and output AC power. Now what I want is the efficiency. That is output AC power by input DC power. RL will get cancelled. Now this peak to peak voltage will be 2 VCC. Because if NPN transistor makes the level as VCC, PNP transistor will make the level minus VCC. So what is peak to peak voltage? 2 VCC. So 2 VCC square is 4 VCC square by 8. What is Vm maximum voltage or peak voltage? VCC. So 2 VCC square over pi. So how much will it become? It will be pi by 4 into 100%. That is 78.5%. So as you can see, its efficiency is much more improved as compared to your class A amplifier. But what is the drawback? That in addition to harmonic distortion, it will also have crossover distortion. So distortion is increased. So if I summarize what we have covered in this video, we have seen direct coupled class A amplifier in which we saw efficiency was 25%. Then we saw transformer coupled class A amplifier in which efficiency was around 30 to 35%. And at last we saw class B amplifier, which is also called as push-pull amplifier. Here efficiency was 78.5%. But what is the drawback? Drawback is the crossover distortion. Okay. So rest of the classes of amplifier we will cover in the next video. We will discuss first of all more about class B amplifier and then class AB and class C amplifier. So we will cover all that in the next video, and the most important amplifier from numerical point of view are class A and class B amplifier that we have covered in this video. Thank you.
I hope all of you have enjoyed the lecture that we were providing and all of you learned something very good. Now is the time to learn about the Unacademy subscription. So as I told the benefits of the Plus subscription at the very beginning, let's go through them very quickly. Live classes you get by the top educators, crash course, rank improvement batch, doubt clearing, weekly quiz, test series, previous year question, practice question, everything in one subscription called as Unacademy Plus. And Iconic is one level higher. It provides you a personal coach who will mentor you on a daily basis, who will guide you on a daily basis, along with providing you study planner, test analysis, study material, and soon enough interview guidance. So if you are looking to join Unacademy, let's see what are the pricing. So my dear friends, before we see the pricing, just see the link. This link will help you crack GATE and ESE with the top rank, because we have created the first ever video book for GATE and ESE for my YouTube family, and you will get the notes as well as the lectures here. Just make sure that you write this link in the uppercase and you will get to the first ever video book for GATE and ESE, and it is nothing but revolutionary. Now let's see the pricing of Plus subscription. So for 12 months the pricing is 3250, but if you apply the code Ankit ESE, it becomes 27,225. For 18 months it will be 34,650, and for 24 months 39,600. Believe me my dear friend, this is the most affordable pricing, and the longer duration subscriptions are more cost effective as compared to shorter duration. Like here it will cost you 1650 per month. Okay, this will be 2000 per month approx. This will be around 2250 per month. Then if you go for Iconic for 12 months, it is 5250. With code Ankit ESE it becomes 45,225, and 2-year subscription becomes 66,600. So the choice is yours, but take a longer duration subscription for more cost effective solution and to give GATE and ESE at least 2 times, so that if you once crack GATE, in the next attempt you can even get ESE. And other than that my friends, you can download the Unacademy learning app right now, because there we provide live classes for free, test series and live quizzes for free. And once you download it, make sure that you follow this profile. This is my profile, so that whenever I come live you will get the notification. And this is the Telegram channel for our team. Here you will find all the lecture links, all the lecture files, and all the links for the special classes. Other than that my friend, my personal Telegram channel also you can join, t.me/GateAIR1. Here you can get in touch with me and we can take this journey together. Okay. Other than that, we have other YouTube channels like Mechanical, Civil and Telugu, JEE channel, Computer Science, Gate Question and Electrical Junction, Pathshala and GS Terminal. Electrical Junction contains short videos of great concepts. Pathshala provides you animated content. JEE preparation can be done through these 2 channels, Unacademy SSC JEE and GS Terminal. And you can refer the other channels to the other friends in respective branches, so that they can also be benefited. At last, I would like to say, please share, like and subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel, and not only subscribe, press the bell icon, so that you get notified whenever a new video comes, and share these videos among all your college group, among all your friends, so that we can create the first ever revolution of free education in field of GATE and ESE. Thank you to everybody for dedicating time to watching this video. Please move on to the next one as well and take the benefit of all the free content that we are providing. And in case you have completed the series, do make sure you watch the other subjects available on this channel. Thank you.